Welcome to DBL. We're so glad you're joining us today. And for those of you who are wondering, including Lindsay's mom, I did plant my mums.
Oh, yay.
For my garden.
My mom, you and my mom apparently had a long conversation about what to do.
She was so thankful. And
my mom has a huge garden in the front yard. Like, I went away, came back, and now she has like a forest.
Wow.
And I was so blown away because I didn't know she had a green thumb.
No, she was wonderful. And a lot of people wrote in and told me pansies and mums, and I got all of that. So thank you. My mom's coming on Saturday, and it will look good, even though they'll die next week. Okay, we've got less than 3 weeks until the midterm elections, and already voting is underway in some states. So we wanted to ask you, what is the biggest issue facing the country this November? So during a campaign speech yesterday, the president argued that abortion access is the main issue. He encouraged folks to vote for Democrats. Otherwise, he said Republicans would take away the right to abortion across the nation. On the other side of the aisle, we have Republicans who are really focusing on the state of the economy and inflation as the main issue that's driving voters. So DBL Nation, we thought we'd go to you. What is the biggest issue you'll be voting for this November? Is it the economy and inflation, abortion rights, crime, or democracy itself? Let us know what you think. There's more voting to do. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. What do you both think is the #1 issue, like the wedge issue that's getting people to go?
Well, I think people start in their local community, and for some people that are out of, let's say, having a baby range, or that's not even in their mind right now, or they're in states that are saying specifically we're not going to ban abortion, because there are only about like 15 states, I believe, that are having conversations about that. They're thinking about why they can't afford the same groceries they could afford last year. And I think that the economy and the way that everything is unaffordable right now, and we can't buy houses and we can't, move the way we want to move, is really starting to cause people to suffer a lot. And so I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what's your strategy to fix that. A lot of the debates we've been seeing locally have been a national spectacle, and so a lot of the conversations have been a little silly, like when they talk about if the election from 2 years ago was rigged or not. I think people in some of those states want to see people talking about what we're going to do to move forward and make people's lives day to day better.
Do you agree, Jeff?
Yeah, listen, I think, the past 2 years with everything going on socially and silencing people, I think has a lot to do with what people are going to vote for this term. I think that's #1. I don't think people are saying that because, listen, I think abortion's a huge issue, right? And I'm all for a woman's right to choose. But some people are even scared to say that, right? They're scared to voice their opinion on that. And I think people use that abortion as like a virtue signal, like as attack. Like, whoa, you think the border is more important than a baby's life? So it's like if you voice your opinion, they're going to attack you with the abortion issue. I don't necessarily know if that's what America's thinking.
Right.
It's a huge issue. Again, I'm not saying it's not, but I think there's other issues that affect people personally on their side.
Like what is for you?
I'm just saying out there, I think whatever your issue is, if you have young children, it might be your school district. If you live in the south part of America, maybe it is the border, right? Maybe that is something. Maybe if your kid died of drugs, fentanyl coming into America and not having anyone watch that border, that might be a problem for some people. Whatever it is, there's a million other issues, but whatever your issue is okay. Go out and vote for your issue. But telling people what to vote for and shaming them about throwing their vote away because it's independent, or you don't care about children because you're not voting with Democrats on this abortion issue, I don't like that. And that would be something I would vote for.
Right. But it's screaming at you in that way.
Yeah, because who you vote for doesn't make you better than me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What do you think is the biggest issue?
Yeah.
I will tell you, older voters say the economy and healthcare. This is just demographics. Suburban women or women over 50, can you guess it's abortion? I think it's all abortion. I think this entire race is about abortion. There's a reason that early voters came to Georgia, and they are now 85% increase from last election. 85%. People are coming out in droves because a constitutional right and a medical right could be taken, and not just statewide. If Republicans get control, they want to make it a nation federal ban. That is scary enough, I think, for women of Republican and Democrat. I think it's bipartisan to come together and say, not my body, no, not this time. There's a reason there's a drove of voters, and I think particularly suburban women will decide this election. Everyone okay? we're good over there. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big issue, but I also think, just a couple months ago we were talking about gun control and how that bipartisan committee came together and just got that accomplished. And we forgot about that because we started talking about abortion so much. But like, these are big, huge issues that don't need to go away. We also were talking about climate change and how many Republicans actually are looking at this as a real issue, as opposed to 20 years ago, we weren't talking about it. We did a story on activists throwing paint on things just to get their point across, which I didn't think was effective. However, there are people that really think climate change is their #1 issue.
Totally.
We can't live if we don't have a good environment to live in.
All of that is true, and I agree with you, except if Roe v. Wade hadn't been overturned. That changed everything for me. To me, it would have been gun control, absolutely. Once Roe v. Wade was overturned, people's eyes and voters that weren't going to vote are now going to go.
But speaking to Lindsay's point, like I said, there's 100 others. Gun control, small business, if you got wrecked during COVID.
Absolutely.
There's so many things that you could vote for on a personal level, but if you bring up abortion, you're shaming someone because that's not their issue. They might not necessarily have kids, or that might not be their #1 thing, right? Again, I'm for a women's right to choose. I want to be clear so people don't take this because I don't want to get in trouble. Right. And neither do people saying, hey, who are you going to vote for? What do the polls think? The polls mean nothing because this 10% of everybody, I say, is on social media causing all this stir. 90%, the silent majority, is the one who's going to come out and shift the election. So whatever your polls think, I wouldn't go by the polls because people are scared to voice their opinion anymore for being shamed.
Right. You're scared of saying what you really
My son overdosed and he was murdered by what about abortion?
True.
It's like you stop the whole conversation
with that word. My only thing is the reason I say that.
Again, you're going right back to it. That you're proving my point.
I think it's overturned. I think it should be brought back. All right, let's look at our polls. Abortion's at 24%, state of democracy 49%, economy's at 25%, and crime is only at 2%. Interesting. Thank you for voting. We're switching gears here. Billionaire philanthropist Mackenzie Scott, who used to be married to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, just made a huge donation to the Girl Scouts of America. Get this, she gave them nearly $85 million. It is the largest donation they've ever received from an individual since their founding in 1912. So how many Girl Scout cookies does $84.5 million buy? Oh boy, that's about 17 million boxes, or approximately 540 million Thin Mints, or my dinner last night. Okay. I also just want to say, because that was funny and all that, this is what they're planning on doing with it: helping the organization recover from pandemic, make camp properties more impactful for climate change, improve science and technology education for the youth members, develop diversity and inclusion programming, and may I also add that women and girls charities receive less than 2% of all donations. So I am actually a little turned on by this.
That's not a good word to use for this.
Probably not.
By young children.
By the young Girl Scouts of America.
Well, I was a Girl Scout, so I actually don't have an issue with the, I thought that the program was very effective. It taught me how to be friendly, just like in the same way that you go to college and it teaches you how to meet friends that align with your values, especially your career goals, and everything's intentional. At a young age, I learned how to make certain friends and be a businesswoman, selling my boxes and be really adamant about getting these all sold. It was a fun experience. So, whether or not Kinsley wants to do it is her choice, but I'm not offended by this donation. I also think that everyone who's critiquing the donation, what have you given this year?
Thank you.
What have you given $10 over in the last year? I know it's been a tight year with money, but what have you donated to? I hate when people are like, oh, Jeff Bezos only gave this many million, his wife gave this million. What have you donated this year?
And just
because $5 helps charities if everyone does it.
I agree with you. Just during his lifetime, Bezos has given 2.4 million with an M. His wife has donated 2.4 million in his entire life to charity.
Across the board?
Across the board. He has pledged
He's committed a ton more, though.
Listen, I don't know. Where'd you get that stat?
And I've checked this. He has pledged billions. He has given 2.4 million. Guess how much his ex-wife has? Mackenzie Scott, that we're speaking about here. 12.5 billion.
And she gave a ton to HBCUs, so that's my girl. She can give it to anybody. I'll take a couple dollars, whatever you want to do.
And you know what's funny? As she gave this, Jeff Bezos, was getting thanked by the Vatican for his charity work. Irony. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Barry Bostwick from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, how he's celebrating the 47th anniversary of the cult classic. And finally, Matthew Perry is opening up about his addiction journey, sharing details about the near-death experience he had after years of opioid abuse. I can't wait to talk about this next. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning
I'm easily tickled, y'all. It doesn't take much.
You're gonna sit here and be right.
I know y'all gonna be mad at me, but I'm just telling you the truth.
You can smirk all you want. You don't have to tell me to go.
Brad Pitt. Don't tell me. I didn't bring it up.
When he was on,
We didn't even talk about the thing that everyone's most
he
interested
looked
in.
different on Friends. Remember he?
Which I don't know if
how
that's
his
true.
appearance would change on Friends?
Yeah.
State of
He said that
democracy.
when he was overweight, it was alcohol. When he was skinny,
People
it was
denying
pills. And when he had a
elections and
goatee,
things like
it was
that.
lots of pills.
That one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember when he was super skinny.
Yeah, so if you could like kind of casually break up like his
It's kind of like,
also
do
talk
you,
about how his
do you think
appearance
that
changed on Friends a lot.
worth the conversation still or not? Me, I like two
So we
guys.
have a video
I know it's
that
like
we
real.
found
There's people who
pictures
are
of
like,
him.
I do notice that that's
Was
what
he
the
on Friends when
news,
he weighed 100?
like
Focuses
CNN
on.
and stuff. Really, they still focus on
that was the
You know,
10th season
the
of
woman in
Friends.
Arizona
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
refuses to
on
say she'll
season
accept
9
the
was the
election.
first Emmy.
That's why I said the national news has been a lot of like, do you still believe the election from 2 years ago was rigged or not? It's like,
That's shocking.
it's just unfortunate. That's what I'll say.
Is that shocking? Season 9, you never got an Emmy nomination?
Maybe that is the
For
most
9
important
seasons?
thing. If we don't have that, we don't
That
have
show
anything.
was like a hit from day one.
Maybe.
But it's like, either way, like Jeff was saying, if you pick one issue, you have to throw away everything else. Like, okay, this lady is crazy, and so now I have to pick somebody who maybe I don't.
A lot of people are single issue voters, as it turns out. And the other thing I always think is the economy's interesting because that's the one that affects us the most.
That's also the one that ebbs and flows on. And I don't even know how much the elected officials have to do with it, to be honest. Whereas something like abortion, if that's changed the law, that's could be forever. You know what I mean? That's like a real thing.
Sounds like you like talking about it.
I think the state of democracy is a big deal.
Where's my
I would have voted for that one. Actually, I did vote for that one.
You did?
Yeah.
sugar? Oh well. Hey,
You
Michael
son of a
Dean.
bitch, how dare you?
Colon burst from overusing opioids. He also said he's had 14 surgeries on his stomach. Oh my word, and has been in rehab 15 times. Wow, he says he started abusing alcohol after he was cast on The Friends show at the age of 24 and was only sober during season 9, the same year he was nominated for an Emmy. I was waiting for him to come and talk about this. He really went from like really skinny to really heavy, and it was like we didn't want to ask, but it was like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I think everybody thinks the same thing.
Is that bad to say?
You remember when Chandler was really
Like
skinny,
Chandler
right?
was gaunt at one point.
Yeah, so let me take you to some set. So he was really skinny, it was pills. He was taking a lot of pills. When he had a goatee, when he was really skinny, it was pills. When he had a goatee, it was lots of pills. Is that right? So it's just more
Good
pills.
to know.
Good notes. All right. So anyway,
The goatee.
I hate notes.
The pills.
Anyways, so yeah, I wonder if he talked about the Friends reunion.
I know.
Because remember, he
Yes, I
seemed a
do.
little off,
He
and nobody
did.
wanted to say like, oh, is he still on drugs? Because he never really came forward at this
No.
point. So I wonder if they addressed that in the article because he did seem a little off, and I wonder if he was still doing something at that time.
At the reunion.
Filming of the reunion.
Yeah, everyone was so present and like crying, and I remember thinking, Jeff, yeah, Chandler or Matthew Perry, he just wasn't there, and he said he doesn't remember. He kept saying, oh, I don't remember this one. I don't remember this one. I don't remember this one. I don't think he was ever really present. What do you think, Liz?
It's probably hard to talk about something when you're in the middle of it and trying to beat it or get through
Yeah.
it. So to be on the other side, he probably is just so grateful that he can share his story in a reflective way now and probably speak his truth finally, because I'm sure from family on, people are questioning what's going on with you, what's going on with you. And as someone who has tons of fans, they're probably all concerned and want to know, what the health update is, why your image is changing so
Right,
often,
right.
why your behavior is changing. And so I hope that this is like freeing for him and he's truly free of some of the demons that he's battling.
No, he did say, you're right, I only did this because I'm on the other side.
Right.
And by talking about it, I wouldn't have gone into the dark side again. So he said I had to be safely sober, which I thought that was so interesting. It's not just sober, you have to be comfortably sober to be able to bring this all up.
I gotta tell you, I think this is a big step after
I do too.
I don't know, this is something for like Dr. Drew or therapists
Like
talk
12
about.
steps.
But it's like when you finally get your demons out in the open and you finally talk about them, whatever they are, it's very lethargic.
Cathartic.
Yeah, cathartic. Damn, lethargic's tired. I'm on fire today. Where's the notes? All right.
Where's it? Go back to the pill.
He takes lots of pills when he's skiing.
Goatee. All right, we do have some information we definitely want to give out. Take your phone out and take a screenshot. If you know anyone who is struggling with substance abuse, there is help out there. We have a number on the website, on the screen for anyone who might need it. And please don't be embarrassed. Please get help. You are worth it. We'll be right back.
Meet Martha. Martha is 75 years old and has been on a...
Millions of Americans turned 62 this year, which makes them eligible to claim Social Security. That includes Verify viewer Kevin, who sent us this question about whether he might get shortchanged.
I want to know if it's true that Americans born in 1960 will earn less in Social Security because of a quirk in the formula.
So Kevin, let's verify. Will people born in 1960 earn less in Social Security because of a quirk in the payment formula? Our sources are the Social Security Administration, AARP, and Mary Johnson with the Senior Citizens League. The amount of your Social Security benefits, like most government things, is based on a complicated formula, but stick with us as we explain it. When you turn 60, the government looks at all of your annual earnings and adjusts each year for wage inflation based on the average income growth of all Americans. This ensures they're using today's dollars when calculating your benefits. The problem is, when there's a severe downturn in the economy, the government can end up adjusting wages down. This has only happened once in 2009 when average wages dropped 1.5%. So people born in 1949 had their wages adjusted downward for the first time in history when they turned 60. For people born in 1960, they're worried the same thing could happen to them because of the economic impact of the pandemic in 2020. Fortunately, wages actually increased in 2020 by nearly 3%. So we can verify, no, people born in 1960 will not earn less in Social Security because of a quirk in the payment formula. Some senior groups called on Congress to step in if wages were adjusted down, although legislators declined to do so in 2009. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. Like a time warp. Whew. Rocky Horror Picture Show still has one of the most devoted audiences of all time. And earlier we chatted with Barry Bostwick from the movie. He's on tour of the cult classic to celebrate its 47th anniversary. Let's do the interview now.
So please, don't tell me to can it.
Janet.
I've one thing to say, and that's damn it, Janet, I love you.
That damn it Janet thing, I mean, that has become like, everybody says that now. I mean, I get more people who come up to me and say, my wife's name is Janet. Would you please sign a picture for us, something, and just put, damn it, Janet?
Well, at least you don't have to come up with something clever. That's perfect. That's perfect. But how does it feel seeing crazy fans coming up to you still over the Rocky Horror Picture Show 47 years later?
Well, you know what's interesting is that we have all different kinds of fans, but right now we're on our third generation. And so I get fans who are 10 years old and they say, well, this is the best movie I've ever seen. And I say to them, how many movies have you seen? You're 10 years old. and then now I'll sign things. They'll bring me a picture or something and they'll say, would you sign it to my grandmother?
Oh, that's harsh.
And then other ones will say, will you sign it to my mother? And I say, yeah, of course I will.
But what the younger generations may not know is that this movie was initially a box office flop. So did you ever expect the cult following after the midnight showing started?
No. You know, one of the reviews said it was the worst movie ever made. And I always recall a line that Tim Curry has in it, and he says, "We didn't make it for you."
Yeah, I love it.
And that's sort of been the whole thing. I mean, we made it for an audience which would get it, which would get the fact that it's basically about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it's about the loss of innocence. Every character in it loses his innocence. So it has been the coming of age thing that every 12, 13-year-old hopefully will go see and maybe explore in their lives how they could do their life a little different. Or, hey, there's other things out in this world that maybe I should look into.
It's like their bar and bat mitzvah seeing this, the 12 and 13-year-olds. The live immersive shows seem like such a party. I was in Munich for Oktoberfest, and I took a train just so I could go to a midnight showing, a Rocky Horror Picture Show in German.
Did you want to pass out in that theater instead of an American one?
Okay, what's the best part about being in the audience of that when you see it all that?
I think the best part is you just leave everything outside the door and you come in and you become part of this happening, this party. It's just a big party. Brad says, it's just a party, Janet. And that's what we're trying to do, is just throw a big party at all these theaters. I mean, if you're worried about recession, don't. Come in, get a prop bag, and throw crap at me.
I like that answer. That's going on the reel. Is the line "you get the most, damn it, Janet"? I have to imagine, right?
Yeah, that damn it, Janet, and don't dream it, be it. I think it's something that people have carried away.
Do you think there's a place that sells Franken fritters over 47 years?
Maybe.
That sells fritters? There's got to be, right? Over 47 years. Somebody came up with that concept.
That's good.
Everything. I see all kinds of advertising where they've used a line from this movie, and they've never had to pay for it because we made this movie so long ago. That nobody gets anything. VHS tapes didn't even exist when we made the movie, and so the shadow cast. One of the reasons we're doing this tour is because we're getting a shadow cast from all these different cities, 17 different cities, and they will do the show in front of the screen, and then. Larry Wiesel, who's the head of the fan club all over the world, travels with me, and we do a whole opening party and costume contest and this and that.
Barry, thank you so much. We really can't thank you enough. DBL Nation, to find all the upcoming tour dates he's speaking about and buy tickets, go to Scott Stander. It's right on our screen right here, .com, and do the time warp with us, huh?
Yes.
Time warp. We'll be right back. Thank you, Barry.
Thanks,
bye. Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
It's election season, which means most of the ads you see right now during commercial breaks are probably for political candidates. One of our viewers in Texas noticed she was seeing a lot more ads for Republican Governor Greg Abbott than his Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke. This raises a question a lot of people have during election season. Aren't candidates guaranteed equal amounts of ad time? Let's verify. Our sources are the FCC, the Communications Act of 1934, and David Schultz, a law professor at the University of Minnesota. The idea of equal time for candidates on TV comes from the Communications Act, which is enforced by the FCC. It says that if a candidate appears for more than 4 seconds on a TV station's air, that station, quote, shall afford equal opportunities to all other such candidates for that office. But there are some big exceptions. Notably, news coverage or interviews don't count. What does count is entertainment content. For example, during President Ronald Reagan's campaign, some stations stopped airing old movies he starred in. And this year, when Mehmet Oz started his Senate campaign, he stopped making his TV show Dr. Oz, in part because any station that aired it would have had to offer equal free airtime to his opponent, John Fetterman. But there's another key limitation of this law. Notice it says equal opportunities, not actually equal time. So if a candidate buys an ad for $1,000 in prime time, the station has to give their opponent the option to purchase an ad for the same price at the same time. But if the opponent can't afford it or just doesn't want to buy that ad space, the station doesn't have to do anything else. They've given them equal opportunity.
It doesn't mean that it has to give, at the end of the day, the same amount of real time if some candidates have more money and can actually purchase more time. All it says is we've got to provide the same opportunity.
And yet another limitation, this law only applies to broadcast TV and radio, so cable and the internet aren't affected by any of this. That means we can verify, no, political candidates are not guaranteed equal amounts of ad time. They are only guaranteed the opportunity to get the same amount of time as their opponents for the same price. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Why are lower car prices not a relief for consumers? Let's connect the dots. The pandemic and supply chain issues caused folks to pay well over the sticker price just to secure the car or truck they wanted. But with supply finally catching up to demand, Morgan Stanley's chief auto analyst says car prices are dropping. However, inflation now causing new car loans to shoot up. Edmunds data shows it's up nearly 1.5% from a year ago. And the Federal Reserve is expected to continue raising interest rates. So you can expect the rates for auto loans to continue to rise as well. That means while overall car prices should fall, monthly car payments might not. Nearly 15% of all new buyers have agreed to monthly loan payments of $1,000 or more. And that is connecting the dots.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. If you're having joint pain in your knees or ankles, you're me. Just kidding. It may be a sign that you need a pair of shoes. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. High heels may be stylish, but they are harsh on your joints. Experts say a 3-inch heel stresses your foot 7 times more than a 1-inch heel.
I would have guessed 3 times more.
Yeah, there's 3.
Those are some cute shoes.
Roll back a tiny little bit.
Sorry.
Prompter, you're fine. They say look for a pair of supportive shoes. The best options will be rounded at the toe, have rubber soles, and are flexible at the ball of your feet. It's also important to switch it up. Wearing those same shoes every day force your feet to hit the ground in a way that over time can actually strain muscles, bones, and joints. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 1-800-686-5325 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. Before we go, we have one funny story. I love it. The friendship between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone seems to be...
You just offended a whole country.
I think I did. Austria, I'm sorry, seems to be going strong. Look at this. The two posted this shot of them carving pumpkins.
Wow.
With survival knives. Sly wrote, quote, "That's what real action guys do with their free time." Here are the pumpkins. What do you think?
Well, Arnold's looks okay, but what is that
wrong?
eyeball?
It's tough to get those tough corners with that big knife. You know what I mean?
I have full pumpkins in my front yard. Maybe I need to carve some faces in them.
You don't carve them?
I didn't take the time out. No, Jeff. I didn't do that.
Plenty of time, Liz. Plenty of time.
We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.